Hi, everybody. This is our first week ever here on Facebook Live, and we're bringing Living Well here. And so we're glad you're with us, and hopefully there'll be a few more that come along. On Living Well, our purpose is to really equip people for living well in spite of a mental health diagnosis. And so we're excited about that. And we're excited that you're here with us this evening here on Facebook Live. And last week, I talked about, if you remember, I talked about the three phases to living well in spite of a mental health diagnosis. And we talked about choosing to live, learning to live, and then living well. But that really is like that initial phase is surviving, and the second phase is really learning how to cope, and the third phase is really how to thrive. And Donna says she's here, so we're glad that Donna's here. And if you type messages into the chat box on Facebook Live or on Facebook, I will see them, and I'll be happy to uh, answer any questions or comments that you have. So, anyway, that's what we covered last week, and we decided to take it out of our network and bring it onto Facebook so more people could find it. And so, anyway, we're just glad that you're here. And I've got two guests tonight. That's what we're going to do for tonight. And you wouldn't believe who they are, I bet. You wouldn't guess. But the first one is Aaron with Mental Health Strong. And Aaron, I want to welcome you here with me tonight. I'm glad to have you on our first ever um, Facebook Live Living Well. So great to have you. And we've got something big coming up for Mental Health Strong, right?
Yeah, we do. We have our second conference that's coming up. It's a virtual conference on Saturday. And this is for marriages and couples, those whether you want to come with your spouse or partner, or whether you want to come as an individual for those who have a mental health or addiction challenge within the relationship. So we have plethora of speakers that are going to be talking from lived experiences and also real life couples sharing their stories to inspire you with hope and resources.
Oh, yeah. And I want to encourage anybody watching this, it's not too late to register, right?
Not
All
at all.
all they need to do is go to mentalhealthstrong.com, right?
Yep.
And they
Yep.
can register. Now, does it cost?
It does cost. So it's $30 for a ticket. That's 3 hours of content. And then it's also available for 30 days post the event.
Yeah. And I can say, not because I was part of it last time, but I can honestly say it will be very well worth your time. And so, yeah. So tell me again, they register for it, and then what time is it and when? It's Saturday, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, so you would go to www.mentalhealthstrong.com, and then on the website there's a image of the conference. Just click that; it will take you to the Eventbrite, and that's how you can register. The conference is 9 to 12 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and if you're on different time zones, adjust that accordingly. And we
Yes.
choose 3 hours just because it is a virtual conference, and we know it's a Saturday. We know people work. We know people have busy lives. But this is really content that we think is going to be really applicable to marriages and individuals and relationships. In our first conference that Brad and Donna were a part of, and they're a part of this one as well, there was feedback to have these particular topics that we're addressing this time. So
And,
we're addressing.
and what are those topics?
Yeah. So they are sex and intimacy, That was the number one topic that was requested. And I think it's because it's a topic that not a lot of people talk about. So we have a sex therapist coming to talk with us specifically about that issue. And we also have survey data that we sent out prior to the conference, specifically to the marriage and mental health community to get their input about what is occurring within the relationship. So, really exciting information that will be shared in that topic. And then we're going to have a panel, which Brad and Donna will be on with us. We're so excited to have you as well as some other speakers that will talk about parenting and child-free solutions. So whether you have children or you don't have children, just talking about what the dynamic is within the family. And then after the break, we'll then go into resiliency solutions. And those are resiliency solutions if you're living with the diagnosis, kind of what you're talking about with living well, or resiliency if you're walking alongside someone that's living with the diagnosis, and what does that look like? So those daily resiliency solutions. And then we'll close out with the Q&A and resources.
Yeah, great. I think it's going to be wonderful. Now, what if somebody really struggles to make ends meet and maybe they can't afford the $30? Is it possible for them to attend?
Absolutely. I would just have them send an email to info@mentalhealthstrong.com and just let us know. And we've got some people that have donated some tickets, so that's an option as well.
Great.
This, just throw it out there, we're not doing this to make money. It's really to pay for the
Right.
technology
Well,
costs.
$30 for what they're going to get from it will be well worth it. And so I want to encourage those of you who are listening and will watch this on demand later that if you, in fact, are interested in going to this, go to mentalhealthstrong.com and you'll
Yep.
be able to get your ticket there. And it's just $30 per household or per
Yep.
screen, as you
Exactly.
say. And
Yep.
it's not per person or anything like that. And
No,
you
no.
get to see Erin and her husband, as well as some of our other folks that are really involved in this movement of talking about mental health within marriage, because
Correct. Correct.
that's a big deal. You know,
Yeah,
it's a
and you and Donna are really, I think of it as a mentor couple that have been married 40 over 40 years, and there's many of us that are coming alongside and behind you guys, and just really trying to build this community so people don't feel alone.
yeah, yeah. Well, we're looking forward to it. So join us this Saturday, everybody. It's
Yes,
not too late. It's not too late. Thanks so much, Erin, for joining us. I appreciate you being here this evening.
absolutely, my pleasure.
All right. Thank you. Well, everybody, I do want to encourage you to head on out to that. And the next person I'd like to talk with is my friend Sam. And so, Sam, I'm really glad that you're here with me. It's so good to have you. And, one of those things that is just constantly goes on for those of us who have a mental health diagnosis are the days where we maybe are just struggling a little bit, maybe a lot, but that how to keep going, how to push through and keep going. Do you ever have days like that? Let's hear it.
Oh yeah, of course. And first of all, thank you for having me here. It's great to be in Living Well. I love the whole concept, and of course, there are those kind of days when you're struggling and it's really like life feels a little heavier, or the daily tasks feel a little heavier than usual. And yeah, I think we need to talk about it because it's a reality.
Yes, yeah. Well, I call it pushing through, where how do we do it when things are really difficult and how do we just say I've got to get this done. It's the day where you think, "Oh, I can't get out of bed. I can't do this or I can't do that." And sometimes it's just a normal feeling. Sometimes it's just how everybody feels on some days. But
Yeah,
there's other times where maybe depression or anxiety are playing a little bit of a role with that.
oh
And,
yeah,
So maybe it's the day you say, I just can't face this day. I got to stay in bed, or I got to, how do you personally, how do you just press on? How do you just um, make sure that you push through those days?
That's a great question, and it even made me really think about it when you asked it. I think that I try to first I acknowledge it to myself because sometimes it's happening and you don't quite realize it's happening.
Yeah,
So,
I
so
think
the first, yeah, just to
it's a great
acknowledge it.
point.
Yeah, sometimes it's happening to you and you're not realizing it. But then once you realize it, I think that one of the things that helps me is to break big goals or tasks into smaller ones
Uh,
so
yep.
that it gives me like a win. It gives me like a win to conquer a smaller step. And then that brings the anxiety down.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, that really helps me. That's one of the things, it's not everything, but that's really certainly one of the key things for me is to,
Well, I think that's a very great way to look at it, because if you have an elephant to eat and you're trying to face eating the elephant, and you haven't broken it down into, I'm going to do it bite by bite in bite-sized things that you can have victory over. Who wants to get out of bed only to look
yeah,
at an elephant that you got to eat, you know?
oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's overwhelming just right there.
Yeah,
Um,
I'd be afraid that the elephant would sit on me. But yeah, so you break down the tasks so that you have wins. That's an excellent point. Um,
yeah,
are there
I,
other things that you do?
yeah, I've noticed that I try to break the routine. I try to break the routine. That really helps me for some reason. Like, if I do things a certain order normally, then I say, well, today I'll do it the other way around.
Yep,
Or today, instead of praying in my bedroom, I'll go take a walk and pray as I walk. Or, you know what I mean? Or just
yep,
I won't talk at all as I pray. I'll listen to some worship music.
yep.
And that changes my mood very often, Brad. It just does. Like, just listening to some very relaxing, calming worship music really does it for me.
Absolutely, which makes perfect sense. That really makes perfect sense. Yeah,
Yeah. I might also sometimes schedule an extra appointment with my therapist if it's been going for a while,
right. If it's continued on for a while.
yeah,
Hmm.
I will increase self-care
There you go.
by just, for example, watching more what I eat, trying to sleep a little more. I would tell my husband how I'm feeling. I would have that extra appointment with my therapist. I would go have coffee with some friends and break my routine, like I said before.
Yes.
Um, just
Do,
those kinds of things.
now, would you be upset with yourself? Would you scold yourself for feeling that way?
No,
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 because if you're like I am, if I scold myself about it, it's only going to make it worse. If I say,
exactly,
if I say I shouldn't be feeling this way, I should, there's no reason for me to blah blah blah, and it will only hurt me more.
exactly. And plus, it's not your fault. It's really not your fault. I don't know, just part of
It's
a,
it's just life sometimes. Sometimes it's the mental health issue, maybe because of a mood disorder or whatever. Other times it's because of stress, or we're just bored.
yeah, exactly,
Hmm.
exactly.
The
Uh,
other, go ahead,
yes, go ahead.
go ahead. Do you have
Well,
more?
I was going to say I love to play tennis, and I have some lady friends that always play with me. We play doubles, And more than playing, I think we laugh a lot.
Oh, yeah.
So even though, and I bet you, at first I don't feel like going to do that. It's that
Mm-hmm.
I'm dreading it.
Mm-hmm.
But if I just do it because I know I will feel better afterwards,
Oh, yeah.
you just do it because I know after playing with them, after 1 hour playing and laughing, I will feel better. I just go and do it.
Absolutely. That's so true. And I've many times said this. I bought a book written by a friend of mine that says, "Get it done while you're depressed." And I bought the book just because I thought it was a fantastic title, and I never did really read it. It just makes sense because the bottom line is you feel better after you get stuff done. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Sometimes when I'm facing that day where I feel like, oh, I don't want to do any of this, I will then say to myself, okay, but you got to do some of it. And
right.
I'll minimize the tasks or abbreviate them or, say to myself, okay, Brad, you're going to do at least these three things you've got to get done. And then once you get those three things done, and then it's some kind of reward. Too often it's food,
Oh
but,
yeah, me.
it may be, maybe it might be, then you could go up to the art studio and work on some artwork or whatever.
That's
If
awesome.
it's really, really bad, then I start with something that I enjoy doing and that normally will change my ability to at least get a few things done that have to get done.
That's wonderful. I love it. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's being.
Do you have other things that you do?
I, I think I'd summarize it by saying you just be kind to yourself. So often we're not kind to ourselves, but I guess taking a walk, playing with my kids, watching a movie with them, or those kinds of things really just
Yeah.
help.
But I would encourage everyone to, if you've got a day where it feels like you cannot get out of bed because of depression or anxiety, get out of bed. Don't stay in bed. If you can push through at all cost, do that.
Yes.
At least shower, get dressed, go outside. Um, you know, I tell this story periodically. There were a number of years ago where we had moved our house. Somebody gave us a house, and we actually relocated it across the street from the church at that time. But I was really having troubles. I was worn out from all the work we did on the house, and I
Yeah.
was really having troubles getting myself to the office. It just was tough to get there. I just would, because I was going into this building alone, and I would just think, oh, I'll just stay at home. And so, you know what I did? The one
What?
thing, even at my worst, I've always had to have my coffee in the morning. Okay,
Oh
even
yeah.
at my worst. So, you know what I did? I moved the coffee, and the coffee maker was only at the office, it was not at home. And so
Oh,
if nothing else, I would go to the office just to have coffee.
that,
And
that would make me go up and get up and go to the office for
yeah,
sure.
it did. It did. And, after COVID now, maybe I need to do that again where I don't have any coffee at home. I have to go out to the office because it sure is easy to just say, oh, I'm going to stay home today and, you know, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, so, well, we've said a number of things. Can we count
Yeah.
them down rather quickly? What were the things that you do?
Well, I would say break big tasks into small steps. Uh, Schedule an appointment with your therapist, an extra appointment, maybe even your doctor if it's going on for too long.
Yeah, if it's been going on a while. Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, break the routine.
Hmm.
Uh, always try to have your prayer time, no matter if you're doing it in a very creative way. Listen to some music.
Yeah. Yep.
Uh, get enough sleep. Make sure you get enough sleep. Uh, go play with some friends. What else? Practice gratitude. Why not?
Yeah. Why not say, okay, right now, I don't feel like doing this or whatever. You know, there's a book called oh, now I'm going to forget the title of it. It means having many goals, not big ones, just many small things. And the guy talks about the fact that motivation does not stay. You can be motivated for days with something, maybe it's long-term goals that you want to do or whatever, and you just don't have the ability to, in other words, don't start by saying, I am going to become physically fit and go to the gym for 2 hours every day or an hour every day. It's too much. You start by saying, I am going to do 3 sit-ups. That's it.
Oh,
Three
I like it.
sit-ups every day. And he said, you might do five, or you might say, well, this is easy. I'm going to do 10, you know,
Ah,
but
good.
you progressively uh,
Yeah.
build on it, because you have to have something that when you're not feeling motivated to do it, you can still force yourself to do it because it's easy or it's
Yes.
doable. Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
I think it's mini habits of change, isn't it?
Yes. Mini habits. Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what else we should emphasize that you mentioned and we didn't say right now in the recap is not get angry at yourself.
Yep. Being gentle with yourself. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
just understand.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, those of you who are listening, do you have, if you're listening live and watching live, do you have any things that you do specifically that you'd like to share with us that you do when it's a day where it's just you're feeling low, you're feeling like you can't press on or can't get up and face the day? Do any of you have things that you do? If so, feel free to share them. Or if you got any questions for us, um, yeah, taking things in small doses really does help, doesn't it, Donna? I agree. I concur. Yep,
Yeah, Donna, that's for sure.
there
I'm
you
glad.
go. See? Yeah.
Also,
Um,
I Maria.
and Maria's reminding us of the things that we've said so far, and that's good. And mini goals. Yep. Uh, Aaron, you talked about Atomic Little Habits. Is there a book by Atomic Little Habits, or is that just how you look at them? They're atomic. Um, Aaron says watch inspirational movies.
Oh, sure. I
Boy,
love
that's true, isn't it? Yeah, it's important. Okay,
it.
Aaron is also saying it's called Atomic Habits Book. So that's good. That's good. All right. Super. Well, we're so glad that you guys joined us tonight. Joel, it's great to have you. We're really happy that you're here tonight, too. And
Great.
so many people will watch this later, and they can always email us at info@freshhope.us, and that will be sure to share things and all that kind of stuff, as well as if there's things that you think you'd like to hear as topics. But what you'll see that this format is very interactive. And so watching it live is to your advantage, because then you can add in some things and you can share things and all of that kind of stuff. And so hopefully we'll get a crowd around this every Thursday night here on Facebook Live, and it's called Living Well. And our goal every week will be that we're talking about a topic or we're dealing with something about how to help people live well, right?
Yes.
Sam, thanks so much. The last time we did something together, you were at my house, and tonight you're not at my house. You're back in El Salvador, right?
Oh, yeah, miles and miles away.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, but anyway, well, listen, everybody. Thanks, Sam. Appreciate it
Thank you.
greatly.
Thank you,
Yes,
everyone.
you bet. Everyone, it's great to have you this evening, and I pray that your week has gone well. We've got that last day of the week tomorrow, right? When, we still got to work one more day, right? And some of us work on Saturdays too. But I'm sure glad you joined us. I will be here mm, with maybe some exceptions, but if there's an exception to it, we'll let you know. But every Thursday night, 7 p.m. Central Time on the Facebook page here, on the Fresh Hope for Mental Health page here on Facebook, and we will be live. And come with questions, come with comments, come with things that you'd like to talk about. I actually have the ability to put your comments on the screen. I have the ability to even put you on the screen with me. So anyway, I'm sure glad that you're here, and I'm glad that Aaron and I were able to chat tonight. Please do not forget, if you want to attend the conference on mental health or marriage and the mental health conference, go to mentalhealthstrong.com and you can register for that. It's not too late. And if you can't afford it, let you email info at, and then you can receive possibly a grant or a scholarship. Yeah. And if for some reason that's still problematic, email me, Pastor Brad at freshhope.us, and we'll do everything we can to help you with that. So I'm sure glad you're here, and we'll see you next week on Living Well. God bless.